Hello, my name is Sydnee Thompson. I am from Dallas, Texas, and the concept of my sneaker was Threads of Survival.
I'm Bryce Wong, .swoosh virtual footwear and collections designer.
Threads of Survival is essentially an expression of my story. I am a cancer survivor. I've been through a lot of different things, ups and downs, and I think we all have in some way. So this design was literally an expression of the joys of survival, but also recognizing that everything is not always, just so smooth as we get through this thing that we call life. And through those rough parts, like we find those small silver linings or gold linings.
Yeah, I think your shoe is one of the ones that has that like personal feel, that like really draws you in, and like it's the details that makes you ask, hey, what is this all about, and what does this mean? We can start with your favorite detail on the shoe.
I think if I had to pick, it's some of those that just tie back to what I call my survival tribe. So growing up in a family of 5, mom, dad, sister, brother, I'm the middle child. The 5 of us are represented, and within the middle of the 5 perfs are 2 that are highlighted in gold. And those golds recognize my new survival tribe, which is my husband and my baby.
Bringing the whole squad along.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I'll tell you my favorite detail. Okay. It's the like cherry candy Dubray. That was something that was super fun just because when are you gonna put that on a real shoe? That's the beauty. That was the beauty of like working in the virtual space where like you can just do anything.
That particular piece I think is so interesting because it came out of the story of us talking through things in the session. So it wasn't a picture of it. It wasn't written in my caption, but it was a very distinct part of my story as a cancer kid. So when I was 11 to 12 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 4 B Hodgkin's lymphoma. When I was 12, I had my first bald birthday because chemo wiped my hair out within the first 3 weeks. And one of the medicines that I would take would change the taste in your mouth. And so my grandmother would always come to my hospital visits and she would bring me a bag of hard candies. And at the time, I did not like the cherry flavor. And so I would always have every other flavor, would eat them throughout that medicine, and it would help. And so after going through that experience, I didn't like them anymore because it reminded me of the medicine. Now the candies tasted like the medicine. It was like, how does this even happen? Now I only like the cherry version of that candy. March 19, 2004, I was declared cancer-free. So I had done my 9 months of chemotherapy. 3/19 is a second birthday. And seeing that remission date next to a Nike check is what is happening? 2 loves combined.
I mean, that was gonna be my next question. How does that make you feel to see that swoosh locked up with the 3/19?
Right. So when I was going through cancer, poetry became an outlet for me. So these 3 words come from a poem that, has stuck with me. It's up in my office, powerful beyond measure. No matter what, shining your light, the days you feel dim, the days, that imposter syndrome might come over, you are powerful beyond measure, and there's nothing, enlightened about sort of dimming yourself.
Yeah, it's cool to see your shoe go from it's a personal story, but at the same time, you're trying to empower others. I think that's really cool. I think one of the things that I love about this shoe is you had talked about the different color shades, representing others out there.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful when you kind of can take those metaphors of fabrics or textiles and match it to the story.
Totally.
And so speaking back to a thread of survival or journeying through surviving something, going through something it's a up and down. It's balance, it's a roller coaster. No matter, if it's big or small, if it's cancer or just a rough day at work. We all have to get through something constantly throughout life, and just to be here each day, wake up every morning, is something that, we shouldn't take for granted. And so the colors just really represent the skin tones of all of us being able to get through the stories that we have to get through. I was actually the first in my small nucleus of family to go out of the country. And something that I noticed about each trip was it was like little Sid. Just imagine 4 hospital walls, 9 months of your, preteen life. And something that I just really fall in love with when traveling is not necessarily where I end up, but that small part of the time where you're in the clouds. Definitely just being eye level clouds is knowing that I'm not in those 4 walls. So.